All right, we are jumping back into another rapid game, looking to play a little bit better than we did yesterday. It's actually the same day. If you are an astute viewer, you might notice I'm wearing the same shirt. I'm filming a couple days ahead because I am trying to get ahead on my video making. So our opponent plays a Dutch defense with h6, which I'm not super familiar with. I think we can just develop our pieces like normal. So let's do that. I guess the point of h6 is to prevent my bishop from going to g5, which is normal line in the Dutch defense. If our opponent's not careful though, okay, he plays that to blunt this diagonal. Can I just play c5 to make him make a decision with this pawn? I guess he could ignore. I am a little worried about getting my bishop trapped if I play e3. I think it's fine though. So a move like bishop to d3 would be a blunder. Take a second, see if you can find why that would be a problem. And the move there would be e5 by our opponent. And then, right, I can trade. I guess I have enough control over that square, it might be okay. But if I were to drop my bishop back, then he would have the fork here in the hypothetical that I had my bishop out to d3. But I don't, and actually that move is okay because I have enough control over that e5 square. But I'm just gonna go for bishop e2 instead. Gonna play h3, so I have a retreat square for this bishop if needed, and then I'll castle next move. Okay, opponent goes for c5. I'm inclined to push here. He probably pushes there and I can draw it back. Let's go for that. And that is exactly what happens. Okay, an aggressive jump in with the knight. This will double his pawns. That should be a pawn I should be able to pick back up, but it does open up the rook. Let's go for it though. I don't think our opponent's gonna be quick enough. Can't I just do this and pick this pawn back up? You could try something like that. Okay, but I castle, and now that pawn's hanging. So I'm not in a rush to pick up this pawn. I don't need to immediately go for something like queen c2, especially because it wouldn't really make sense to take there because then there would be a pin. It would be okay, I could play a move like f3 to preserve my knight, but that might get a little bit messy. Let's see what other plans we have here. I am interested in a move like f4, but then that does allow en passant and kind of allows him to get rid of his weakness. So we're actually gonna go for this move. If I take, yeah, I'm pinned, but then again, like I mentioned, I do have this move f3. So let's do it. That is a central pawn. We're gonna play f3 to protect the knight. That frees up my queen to move. Now I can also bring my bishop over to defend, and then I can evacuate my queen safely. I think I can take that, right? No, I cannot, because then he'll win a piece. I can probably go, if I go f4, takes, moves the bishop back, that gives me another tempo to defend the knight again. Let's go for this. Looking at that sacrifice, takes. Okay, he doesn't play it. He does have that now, though. So I could consider something like rook to f3 to prevent that. Which I do like, also opens room for me to double up, but on the same hand, it allows more pressure. No, let's do that. So this does a couple things, and I think this is a really nice move. One, it prevents that sacrifice on h3. Two, it adds another defender to the bishop if I were to move the knight. So now my knight is free to move. And three, it prepares doubling up on the f-file if I want to do that. So I think this was a great move. We'll see what the computer thinks after the game, but I'm proud of it. If I go there, takes, that doesn't work. Okay, I'm looking at g4. That forces taking there. That feels really good for me. I don't see an alternative. And then the queen's gonna have to move. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I guess my pawn is still pinned. Does this allow this though? If I do that, am I just dead along the G file? So takes, let's say takes, yeah, that's not good for me. Oh wait, no, takes, he can't take because then takes. So takes, let's say takes there. Takes. That would win my queen. Getting low on time, I think I'm gonna take there first. Okay. This one's a piece. And I think we're completely safe. Okay, he sacrifices, but I can take with the queen. And now that pawn's no longer pinned. So now I'm up a rook and a pawn. So it should be pretty easy to convert from this position. He'll win that pawn back, but I will be busy winning the rest of his pieces afterwards. So let's continue to try and trade. Gonna speed things up a little bit. We're under 3 minutes. Last game I did get in a little bit of time trouble. Okay, let's just defend and attack. Get this rook over to the open file. That doesn't stop this move. Okay, I'm gonna continue to bring my king. Okay, that doesn't threaten anything. I could have taken on h6 as well. Maybe that would have been better. There, back, there, takes, yeah. That's fine. Can you go takes, takes, bishop to g5 is interesting. I am still able to drop my rook back and defend though, so it doesn't quite work, but would be a good find and almost tactic for our opponent. Okay, at this point he's just gonna trade the rooks. Takes, takes, takes. I'm actually gonna take on b6. Funny move here. If he takes my rook, I can just, yeah, I could have just taken there. We'll just play it like this. It's all winning. We're just trading down pieces. Our opponent sacrifices the bishop for no reason, and I think is waving the white flag at this point, and goes ahead and resigns. Looks like that was our first game against the Dutch as well. So let's review it really quick. You don't play the Dutch very often. Apparently that was our first time in the speed run. So against the Dutch, I play d4, c4. Knight f6 is the main move, followed by bishop to g5, but our opponent goes for h6 to prevent that. It looks like that's already a losing mistake. And it looks like in this position, e4 is just winning. Why is that just winning? Yeah, it's because he can't take that pawn. I actually have checkmate if he does, which is pretty funny. So that's why that's such a serious mistake. I should have just gone e4. So he'd have to play an ugly move like that. I can play e takes. He either has to just lose the pawn or, I mean, if he takes back, same thing, checkmate. So you gotta be careful along this diagonal when you're playing the Dutch. I develop normally though, get a very pleasant position. am slightly better here out of the opening. And here it likes d takes c5, not an easy move to play, not something I played. This is good too though. And then again, yeah, I'm winning, or at least much better. Castles. Yep, this is all good. Knight takes e4 is the best move. Some people would be hesitant to play this move because it walks into a pin, but I go for it because I knew I had this f3 resource, and I could also just go for bishop d3 right away, which actually would have been better. But we do it this way. This is all good, completely winning. So this is a move I was proud of. Looks like it wasn't the best move. g4 right away actually would have been better, which also makes a lot of sense. Kind of prevents all of those shenanigans as well. And then that's a mistake, and that's because, yeah, I can just take, when he takes, I take back, and we trade off everything. We emerge up a rook, then we just go trading off the pieces, and then our opponent resigns. So that'll do it for that game. Thanks for watching.